Hi loves, it's Dawn, the barefoot pagan, and today I wanted to talk about a neo-pagan's view on organized religions. So organized religions, in my mind, are bigger, well-recognized religions. So we're talking about Christianity, Judaism, I'm not sure how to pronounce that exactly, Islam, even Buddhism, Hinduism, those kinds of religions, I feel like are large, organized religions that a ton of people follow, and they have some pretty basic teachings that they follow. So first, I do want to start out with a disclaimer that I do not try to preach in these videos. I'm just sharing what I believe, and if it motivates you to go off and find your own spiritual walk and find the things that you believe, that's awesome, but I'm not trying to teach, I'm not trying to preach, and I'm not trying to persuade you to believe what I believe. I'm just sharing what I believe. So I believe that all religions exist. And I think that's really hard for a lot of people to wrap their heads around, because it is kind of, I haven't really heard anyone else say this or talk about believing this, but I just feel like the universe is so big and so vast. There's absolutely room for every single religion to exist in a real form, to actually have the God that they have, and to have the history that they have even. I guess I just believe that what you believe, no matter what you believe, it is reality. And it can be reality within your reality, and it can be reality within the reality of the universe. And that doesn't mean that every single other person in this world is going to live your reality. It doesn't mean that just because you believe in the Christian God in heaven, that every single other person is going to go to a heaven or hell. I don't think that's the case, but I think within your life and within your timeline and within who you are and your soul and your spirit, the Christian God exists, and Jesus will be there to welcome you in heaven. I don't necessarily believe in fate. If you've watched my What Happens After Death video, I talk about reincarnation and having young souls and old souls, and I kind of believe that the age of your soul kind of determines your fate. If you're younger, you have a lot more lessons to learn, so you're going to make a lot more mistakes, and you're probably going to hurt a lot more people in the process. Whereas if you're an old soul, you've kind of gained a lot more empathy through your past life experiences, and you've become someone who can make more of a positive impact on the earth. But I don't believe in fate. So I believe that you are walking a path that you have chosen, and that maybe you've been brought up in a certain religion and that's why you follow that religion. And if it speaks to you, that's great. That's awesome. You've already found your path. But I don't believe that you're put on this earth to follow a specific spiritual path. I don't think that you are put on this earth because you have to follow a specific religion. And if you're feeling guilted into a religion or pushed into a religion, maybe that's just not the spiritual walk for you. And maybe you need to venture out and open up your heart to the idea that there's a different spiritual walk that's going to make you feel more whole as a person. And I think that's really what your end goal should be. When you're looking at all religions, is to find the one that you're like, wow, this is me. You know, and I have friends who are Christian, and they just truly feel like they can feel God speaking to them. They pray with so much heart, and I truly feel like the Christian God is looking over them, and the Christian God does love them, and what they truly believe is truly real. I have friends from all different religious walks, but I would say that my closest friends are probably mostly Christian, and I truly feel like that is a reality. The Christian God absolutely exists, and to them, he loves me too. And I feel that love from a Christian God, even though I don't practice the teachings of a Christian God, or necessarily, it's not that I don't believe in him, because I do believe that every single God exists, which is a little confusing, but I just don't believe that I'm supposed to follow him, if that makes any sense. So I can believe in the energies and the existence of every God and every deity, and that they have their space in the universe, and that is influencing people here on this earth. But I don't necessarily think that everyone has to follow a specific one. And I think that's the one thing that humans kind of get wrong, is this idea that their God or their religion or their beliefs in general are the only right ones. And this goes for pretty much everything, for politics, for religion, for just personal values. I think there are some basic personal values of goodness, and that is to just be kind and to harm as little as you can. We all do harm in some way, unintentionally and sometimes intentionally, but I think just making an effort to be intentionally good is the overall teachings of every religion for the most part. I mean, even a lot of people, I have a friend who practices, I don't know, is it Satanism? I guess Satanism. I'm not sure exactly what they call it, but basically they believe that just do what makes you happy, but in the process don't purposely try to go out and hurt other people. They're not teaching to be evil. So even people who believe in Satan, which was basically a selfish angel that left God based on selfish reasons, they believe that being selfish is okay and that Satan wasn't in the wrong to do that. And all the power to them. I think that that's awesome, and I think that in a way they are right. And I think Christians are right too, and Muslims are right, and Jews are right, and everyone can be right. And I think the basic core concept of any religion and any spiritual walk is to just be kind and to be a good person in the world. And I think a lot of people misconstrue that as making other people do exactly as they do, rather than accepting that people will do things differently, and it doesn't necessarily mean that different is bad. So really the biggest thing, there are little things that I disagree with in every religion, there are little teachings, but for the most part, I agree with almost all religions and all of their teachings. I just disagree with this idea that there only needs to be one teaching. I think diversity is a beautiful thing, an amazing thing, and should be accepted, and we can learn from different religions. I'm constantly talking to people of different spiritual walks and finding that, wow, what you said just did influence me, and maybe a message that one of my friends felt the Christian God gave them and they shared with me, I'm like, wow, I feel like the Christian God is speaking to me right now too. That was a really healing message. Thank you for sharing it with me, and thank your Christian God for sharing it with me too. Even though I don't follow him and he isn't the person or the God that I choose to honor or whatever in my time on earth, I am grateful that he is a part of your life and you shared him with me, and I think that's something that so many people just need to be willing to do, is to accept other people's religions and accept them sharing their religion with you. But I think there's a fine line between sharing a religion and preaching a religion. And on this channel, I try really hard to be very clear that I am not preaching and I am not teaching and I am not trying to persuade people to follow what I follow. I'm just sharing. And I am talking right now about one thing that I think people get wrong. So I guess in a way that could be a little preachy. But again, that's just my belief. And you are totally welcome to believe that my belief is wrong. And I respect that. And I think that that's a beautiful thing. And I think that disagreements are good and having different beliefs is good. And I think the best thing you can do, though, is to accept that other people are just going to have different beliefs. And that's okay and that's wonderful. And we don't need to change that. I think as long as people are being as good as they can be, that should be the end goal. The end goal, it shouldn't be to change people's beliefs. It should be to either influence their actions to be better or to change their values in a way that makes them more kind. Not makes them fit your religious ideas of what they should do, but makes them kind, makes them to where they are not hurting other people. I do think all gods and deities and energies and ideas are good. I don't think that there's one God out there or one religious idea that's bad. And I don't think any God had intentions of being bad or causing chaos on earth amidst the people that follow their teachings. So I don't really even believe in evil in general. And I think evil is just a product of youth. I've talked about this in my reincarnation video, which I'll link in the bottom if you want to. I'll link in the description below if you want to go watch it and kind of get what I'm talking about here. But I believe that like just a young soul and an experienced soul is where bad actions come from. It's that they haven't had the time to learn empathy. And I think that is where evil comes from. Evil doesn't come from religion, come from like a specific bad place. It just comes from a lack of empathy and a lack of time to gain that empathy. And time heals all wounds, I believe, and the more you're reincarnated, the less you are evil. So that is another thing that I contrast with a lot of religions, because a lot of religions do preach like a specific source of evil, and I just don't believe in evil. I believe that people can do really, really bad things, and we have a tendency to want to believe in evil because we don't want to believe that people are capable of just doing that bad of things on their own. And I just truly believe that people are capable of doing really bad things on their own with no influence of anything other than, in my belief, just not being reincarnated enough to know better. So yeah, I'm getting a little sidetracked now because now I'm talking about my beliefs, but this video is basically supposed to be about my belief on everyone else's beliefs. And if you can take one message away from this video, or let's say two messages, because I think there's two important ones here, is one, find the spiritual walk that fits you. If what you're doing right now was influenced by your family or your community or just the society that you're within, and it doesn't really speak to you, it's okay to reach out. And you may live in an area where maybe it's not okay. You know, maybe practicing a different religion is literally a life or death situation where you're at. And my heart hurts for you. And if you have to pretend to continue to practice that spiritual walk, I understand. But if you can find a spiritual walk that fits you even amidst the really difficult lifestyle that you're living, I think it will help bring you some peace and clarity for what you need to do with your life in general. And atheism is even a spiritual walk. Atheism is not believing in any spirituality at all. But if that speaks to you, that's awesome. Like, just find your thing. Find your thing that brings you peace. I think that's what religion and spirituality should truly be about, is that it makes you want to be a better person. Not because it's telling you to, not because it's guilting you into it, not because there's like fear-mongering involved that if you don't do these things, you're not going to have a good life or have a good afterlife or whatever it may be. It should genuinely fill you with a light that you just want to share. Not necessarily to change people to the religion you're with, but to just be a light and to be a good person and to be kind. And that's really where your spirituality should influence you. So that would be my first message, is to find a spirituality that fits you and makes you feel whole as a person. And my second message would be to just really work on accepting the fact that people are going to have different beliefs than you, and that's okay. That's a beautiful thing. Diversity is a beautiful thing, and you don't need to change their beliefs. If you can influence their values and try to motivate them to be a better person, that is awesome. And if you are doing that through speaking to them about how you feel kindness should be portrayed, that's great. Using your religion as a crutch to try and change their behavior, I don't think that's really great, because religion is such a personal experience and they should be able to find the experience that they want to have, with or without, like without your persuasion. Not as if they are so influenced by who you are as a person that they seek you out and want to experience a religion with you, that's great. But it shouldn't be because you told them that's where they needed to go. I think truly the best way to influence people into following the values that you practice is to be the kind of person they want to be themselves. If someone sees something within you that they just truly feel is so inspirational and good, they will want to do what you're doing. And if that means practicing your religion, that's great. I don't think you should have to tell people to practice the beliefs that you practice. I think that who you are as a person should be able to motivate them to want to follow in your footsteps. If you truly believe that you need to preach to others, if you feel like sharing the word of your religion is truly important, then I think the best approach to go with that is not to use your voice, but to use your actions and who you are as a person to draw people into you to where they're at a place where they're asking you, how are you so good? How are you so patient? How are you so kind to everyone? Why do you exude such kindness? And those questions open up the opportunity for you to share your religion in a way that isn't pushy, it isn't preaching, it's truly just sharing. So if you do feel like that's something you need to do and you feel pushed by your religion to do that, then I think the best way you can do that is starting with silence and allowing your actions to open up the conversation. So yeah, those are my 2 pieces of advice ending this video, is to accept others for the beliefs that they have and realize that that is a really good thing, that people have different beliefs and you can learn so much from them and you can pull from them. And even if you don't agree with them, you can respect them. And if they are a good person and a kind person, you can be happy that they found a spiritual walk that allows them to be that. And you in turn should also be searching for your spiritual walk that allows you to be the best possible person you can be. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I will be back in the future with more videos, some that are a little more religious-y talk like this, and other ones that are a lot more just about my crazy little neo-pagan ideas and magic and kind of goofy little entertaining things like that you may or may not believe, but you might find entertaining nonetheless. So thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one.